wonderful Thursday night, early Thursday night, late Thursday night, early Friday morning, soon to be. Chris McDonald with you up on this late night Thursday. It is 11:30 in the East. We just got back in here shortly from a wonderful evening tonight with the Wiregrass Children's Homes yearly Christmas tree auction, and Kathy and I were very honored to be there tonight, and Kathy's brother-in-law, Gerald, Vincent, his organization, Vincent Electric and Plumbing, they're a big sponsor of this, and the second year I've been to it, and it was very well done again this year. Grateful to be part of it. It's just mainly what we do. We go and they have these gifts, Christmas trees that people bid on, and all monies that are raised with the trees are done in order to raise money for the Wiregrass Children's Home, which is basically a shelter for kids that are abused, neglected, homeless, runaways, things like that. I don't know. This is the second year I've been to it, and but it's very, very good organization here. Grateful to be part of that tonight. But it put us late getting on here being with you, and we're grateful that you're here tonight. We won't keep you too long tonight because I got to get back up and teach Bible study in the morning, but good to see everybody in the house, and good to see some of our regulars popping in, and I'm sure we'll have more. Now, we've got a poll question right now. What's the greatest danger to America? And I just put Trump's name down there as an amusement just to see how many lovely individuals would say that. If you don't see something on that list that you think's a threat and you want to chime in on what you believe is a threat, you can put that in the chat and I'll add that to the list. We can only have four things there, but what is the greatest threat to America right now? And we're going to be talking about that tonight. We will take your questions tonight. If you got any questions, you can send them to us at McFiles forum, but it'd be good. Just hang on just for a few minutes. We'll take your questions, comments at the end tonight. There's really no big story. Of course, the government reopened last night. Trump signed the bill to reopen the government. The Dems didn't get a thing out of this. The other sort of breaking news story tonight is not really breaking, but it's just the ad nauseum trickle of Epstein, and I'll just talk about this. I don't know if you've heard this tonight, but the Democrat Party, the DNC's website or their X account was deleted totally tonight because they posted something along these lines, and I'll just show you this. This is the X account. They put it out there that they claimed the new documents tonight show that Donald Trump spent Thanksgiving with Jeffrey Epstein in 2017. And at the time, Trump was already president, and Epstein was already a convicted sex offender, and they redacted a lot of things there that supposedly are conversations that Epstein had with Trump. Well, they deleted that, and just to show you how dishonest the media is, there was an account, I think that said Patriot or something, and he happened to fact check them and got a picture of this right here. Where is it? Just had it. I just absolutely just had it. If you'll give me 1 second, I tell you what I'll do. I will find it because we posted it on our X account at the McFiles 45, and Buck Sexton, he basically put it out. Well, did I do that? I thought I did. Well, I guess I didn't. But anyway, it's a picture of President Trump and the troops that him and Melania were there Thanksgiving, serving turkey dinner to the armed forces in Thanksgiving of 2017. And that just, again, is another, hang on just a second, I will find it. That bothers me because I sure thought we retweeted that out. but we'll do it this way. We'll just do Buck, and then I know it's right here. Well, I didn't want to click on your picture, Buck. I like you, but I'm trying to get to that picture that you retweeted. And actually, Nick Sortor, give me 1 minute, because I want to show you the truth about this, because this again goes to the bigger picture of how dishonest the media is, and even some on the right that are screaming for the release of the Epstein files tonight. And it just seems that we just keep going down these rabbit holes, and I'll find this. It just bugs me when I do this. I literally sit here and try to do it, and these things get buried deep into the profiles and you can't find it. Bottom line is, that is a lie. That President Trump had Thanksgiving dinner with Epstein in 2017. He did not. But he's already got a $1 billion lawsuit coming at the BBC for basically tampering with a video, making it seem like he was calling for insurrection on January the 6th. The Swedish network, main network in their nation, is going to be in trouble now because they too did the same thing as the BBC did. They edited content and so forth about that. So the media is going to keep doing this stuff, and they're going to wind up getting sued. We're actually talking about not wind up getting sued, they're going to get sued. Trump issued a statement tonight that he felt like that even if they apologized at this point, that he was going to go ahead and do it and file the lawsuit, which I believe he should. And because it just does not stop, and they keep doing this stuff. And, you know, at some point, you know, if the only way you can get the only way you can get around to getting people's attention is hitting them in the pocketbook. And anyway, I'm trying to find that picture of Trump and Melania 2017 feeding the troops, and I will find it before this night's over. The other story that we've got tonight that's very interesting is Eric Smallwell, whatever his name is. He is under legal investigation tonight. Here's Jesse Waters, mortgage fraud again. Letice James is in trouble for this. Adam Schiff's in trouble for this. Add Mr. Smallwell's name to this. He's such a jerk. Or, forgive me, my apologies to all the real jerks out there for even putting Smallwell's name in the category as a jerk along with him. Roll the tape.
Fox News alert, Swalwell could be in some trouble. The feds are looking into his past. Not Fang, at least not yet. NBC is reporting that the congressman is being referred to the Justice Department for criminal prosecution. Once again, mortgage fraud. The allegations are that Swalwell listed his $1.2 million DC pad as his primary residence. But he's a congressman from California. Now it's up to Bondi to prosecute. Swalwell says Trump's just out for retribution, and the allegations are false. But that's the same thing Tish, Comey, and Bolton said. Eric better get his house in order. Rumor has it he wants Gavin's job. But if convicted, he won't have either.
If convicted, he won't have either. We will see whether that takes place. I know that many of you have heard today that Gavin Newsom's chief of staff has been arrested on corruption charges, and that's no surprise. It's not been a good time for corrupt politicians in D.C., and another one's about to hit. This is a picture of Caroline Leavitt today. She was asked a question about Trump, and she says that they are going to sue the BBC. Give me 1 minute to refresh this screen. We're trying. I thought we had all this ready to go. Gotta love computers. But this is Caroline Leavitt today about the BBC thing. She says they will sue the BBC whether they apologize or not. $1 billion is is what Trump is demanding. Trump's going to get enough money from these lawsuits that he's going to be able to pay down the national debt. I'm just going to be honest with you. These people, I'm telling you, folks, this is good. This is going to be the end of the BBC. It's going to be the end of the Swedish network. The Democrats, the people that were behind that ex post, I would be getting your checkbooks out. I mean, the Dems are going to be writing a check. That's slander, folks. We've been talking about slander in the morning Bible studies, and it's illegal. It's under the law. You can get sued for this. And when you defame somebody's character, you lie about somebody publicly, you go on the public airways and you do it, you can get sued. And you can lose everything you've got. People have no fear of God. They do it anyway. And we're talking on the mornings about the spiritual aspect of it, but there's a worldly aspect of it. There's a natural aspect of it out there in this world, that there are laws on the books in the world to protect people from having this happen to them. And even Trump, who as the president of the United States and as a citizen of this nation, he is protected from it too. But the media has got so much Trump derangement syndrome that they just don't care. The Dems don't care. People don't care. I've seen some of the most vile things posted about President Trump on social media that are just plain not true. You know they're not true. Innuendo, insinuation, accusation, half-truths, half-lies, this little insinuation and that little insinuation and this little suspicious thing and superstitious thing, and it just don't stop. And I think that maybe perhaps, Trump hitting back in the courts, maybe it will put a pause to some of it. I don't think it's going to stop it. But if I'm the Democrats tonight, I will, and I'm going to find that picture of him feeding the troops with Melania. That was basically in 2017, and if you'll give me 1 minute, I'm just gonna let's see here. Where is that image of them doing it? Give me 1 second. It's bugging me. But here. Actually, here it is right here. This is President Trump, and Melania had on the yellow dress. I remember this, and this is where they were at Thanksgiving of 2017, not on Epstein Island, but that was the troops overseas in Iraq. And there they are. That was 2017, right after he got elected. That's Thanksgiving dinner. And the Democrats claimed that he was having Thanksgiving dinner with Jeffrey Epstein. I got something to say about the Epstein stuff, folks. We need to put it to bed. We are being so distracted. We've got so many other things that are going on in this nation that are a million times more important. And people are so fascinated on these files. And all of it is to do one thing, and that is smear President Trump. That's all it's about. It's not about justice for the victims. It's not about anything else. Jen Psaki tonight basically was she made a boo-boo, and I've got a Newswire clip here from the Gateway Pundit. I'll just show you this. In fact, just to show you again how the media works. Let me see if I get this up. I'm sorry for this. Tonight we thought we were ready to go, and some of these files just didn't get downloaded like I thought they were going to get downloaded, so I apologize for that. That's on us, not you. So bear with us. It is late night McFiles, right? But this is Jen Psaki having to backtrack something that she said today, calling the President Trump a predator on national television amid the Democrats' Epstein email hoax. Wednesday morning, the Democrat Committee on Oversight released a tranche of correspondence from the Epstein estate claiming to strike a blow against the White House quote-unquote cover-up. 3 unrelated emails ranged in dates from 2011 to 2019. The selectively leaked emails suggested President Trump spent hours with an Epstein trafficking victim. The Democrats' latest smear backfired. The unnamed victim referenced in the document dump is Virginia Giuffre. She has reportedly stated that President Trump was never involved in any wrongdoing. She died of suicide earlier this year under mysterious circumstances. The White House blasted the Dems for their latest stunt. Quote, they selectively leaked emails to the liberal media to create a fake narrative to smear President Trump. Psaki, Biden's former press secretary, who is as Trump deranged as anybody, listen to this. She had to backtrack. I want you to listen closely to what she had to say here. Roll the tape. Hang on, after the commercial here. Just a second.
But Hamas keeps choosing.
Hang on just a second. One more. Hang on. Hang on.
From the 1950s, which
hang on just a second. I hate these. Now,
in supporting what Donald Trump is doing.
You're talking about the other predators out there, in addition to Trump. I mean, I'm not saying he is. We don't know all the details about that. I just mean in addition to what we've learned about Epstein and others, there's other predators out there.
There are, and we have to remember that Alex Acosta, when he
and that's such crap. Listen to what she
Donald
says.
Trump is doing.
You're talking about the other predators out there, in addition to Trump.
In addition to Trump. In addition to Trump. In addition to Trump. Let me now get off of that page because you'll be hearing that thing. In addition to Trump. In addition to Trump. Neighbor, that's suable. That's suable. Now, the media won't backtrack that. Psaki won't backtrack that. But that's how they do it. And she should be sued. She backtracked. She knew immediately when she said it what she was doing. And that's how the media's doing it. But we'll leave it at that. And that's what's happening. So anyway, and then this is another interesting story. By the way, Neil Gorsuch was on Fox this morning. He's a good Supreme Court justice. Don't agree with all of his decisions, but most of them I do. And he says something to Lawrence Jones here that's very intriguing. I'm just going to listen to what he has to say about our kids. A lot of the reason why our kids are stupid on civics is because we don't teach civics anymore in the schools. Roll the tape.
It seems like a lot of my generation and the younger generation, those stories just aren't taught in schools. Do you think that has hurt us as a society, that we eliminated those stories out of the history books?
You know, this is one thing my colleagues and I really agree on, is the importance of bringing civic education to our children. Over half of Americans can't pass the citizenship exam we expect people who come to this country to pass. Most Americans cannot name the 3 branches of government. And if you ask me what the greatest danger America faces today, it's itself. And we have to learn how to talk to one another. We need to know our shared history. And I think if we do that, we'll come to realize that all the things that separate us pale in comparison to the things that unite us, those 3 great ideas in the Declaration. And so, yeah, I wanted to be part of America's celebration and bringing us together again.
He's writing a children's book, Heroes of 1776, and I hope that you avail yourself to it. It sounds like a very good series of books that are going to teach our kids that America is not a fascist, racist country. And I applaud the Supreme Court Justice for doing that. Very good to know that somebody's trying to keep our kids, trying to get our kids straight on that. Several other things. Those are the latest things. By the way, John Fetterman was trying to, she basically, this is Katie Couric. She is a sick puppy. She was trying to bait a question to Fetterman on Charlie Kirk. And he's, by the way, Jesse Jackson. I don't know if you heard about this tonight. There he is right there. He's been hospitalized with a brain disorder tonight and not doing well. He's probably on his way out. Sits there. Just some other things that you see on Gateway Pundit. We've got all these stories on our Telegram room and so forth. And nation, folks, I'll tell you what, we've got a messed up situation, and the courts. Speaking of John Fetterman, our prayers for him tonight. He fell. He had some kind of fall at his home near Braddock, Pennsylvania. He was transported to a hospital in Pittsburgh, and he had a ventricle fibrillation flare-up that led him to feeling lightheaded, and he fell. And upon evaluation, that's what caused the fall. There he is right there. He said during an early morning Walt Fetterman sustained a fall. They took him to Pittsburgh, and so he's in need of your prayers tonight. He suffered a stroke in May of 22. He's a good man. Not too many Dems I can say that about, but he's at least standing up to the crazies in his party. I may not agree with him on a lot of other things, but I know this much. He's at least trying to do the right thing. A couple of other things with you. It's getting late here. We're going to try to get your questions here shortly. I did want to come on tonight for a little bit. This is Stephen Smith's take on the Epstein thing with the Dems, and I love what he has to say. It's a little loud here, so let Stephen do it in his own way. Such hypocrisy. Roll the tape.
Ladies and gentlemen, keep in mind that the Epstein files were in existence and free to have been opened during the Biden administration. You were there for 4 years. How come you didn't open it as a Democratic Party then? What am I missing? I'm not saying I know. It's a legitimate question. Maybe I don't remember the answer. Maybe my extraordinary producers should be able to help me during the commercial break. But from my understanding, the same files that were open or being open now with the 220 pages of documents or whatever it is, with various emails, that could have been done when Biden was in office. Well, why didn't you do it? If it's so important now. What were the Democrats doing at that particular moment in time? See? This is the kind of stuff that smells. Because my attitude is just deducing how much they despise Trump is if there was some real bona fide dirt on him, since you went after him with the 34 felony convictions, which essentially was deduced to him paying hush money to Stormy Daniels, a porn star, so she wouldn't reveal their happenings with one another leading up to the election in 2016. Okay? If you had something like that you were willing to parade him through the streets with, of course, if you had something on him about Epstein, you'd have let it go earlier to make sure he didn't become the 47th president. That's just my thinking from a lot.
And that's the logical thing. That's exactly right, by the way. I knew I would find it. This is off Melania Trump's X account, folks. This is her picture on the day in question in 2017, November of 2017, that they claimed Trump was having friendly visits with Epstein. And lies, slander, malicious lies, malicious slander, malicious character assassination. Here it is right here. She posted this November the 23rd, 2017, Thanksgiving. She says, thrilled to spend part of our Thanksgiving with the local Coast Guard. It was a Coast Guard station in Florida. It's not the people in Iraq, but they were serving turkeys. They were serving Thanksgiving dinners and helping the members of the military during that time. And it may have not been just the Coast Guard. It may have been the other branches, but Trump and her were together. There it is right there. That's where he was on Thanksgiving. So I hope you Democrats pucker up. I really do. And folks, I've got no sympathy for these people that do this stuff. I've got no sympathy whatsoever. People that do this stuff and traffic in this stuff, they deserve what they get. And if they go bankrupt, they deserve every bit of the pain and the suffering they've caused by their mouth and by these lies. It is well deserved for it to be brought back on their head, and be brought back on their head in a massive way. And I hope Trump owns them. I do. I hope Trump goes after these people, and I think it would send a lesson to a lot of people out there that, you may not like somebody. You may have Trump derangement syndrome. You may have derangement syndrome about a lot of people. But when you go out and you publish what you willfully know is malicious slander and malicious lies, and you do it to assassinate the character of somebody, you're breaking the law. And the law offers civil restitution and civil, what's the word I'm looking for? Civil remedies for compensation, for loss of money, for loss of things, You can get sued for that. It would be wise for people to be a heads up that this is where our country's at. This is why we're under siege, and I hope that he does it. And I want to get off of Epstein because I really could care less about Epstein. He's a dead pedophile, and, he's a dead pedophile. And you're asking, well, you saying, do you think that there's other victims, folks? If there were other victims, and even some of the victims that have come forth, their credibility has been brought into question by some of the things they've said. Even the young lady that committed suicide, the stories, there's so much, Ghislaine Maxwell's being transferred all over the country in prisons and nobody's talking. It's time to put it to bed. We got bigger things going on in this nation. And in the way I look at it is that we've got 3 years with a Trump administration. I'm not saying Pam Bondi's handled this the best. I'm not saying Dan Bongino's handled it the best. I'm not saying Kash Patel has handled it the best. It's time to put it to bed. It's time to put it to bed and move on. And move on. I'll put it like this. Those that were involved in it, if they escape justice on this side of the grave, they will not escape it on the other side of the grave. By the way, this is, what is this? This is the lady that got arrested for basically trashing the ICE camp, and the government, the DOJ judge tonight, she sued to get her case thrown out. The DOJ said, nope, they can prosecute you. You assaulted that officer. So LaMonica McIver is in trouble tonight, and Tom Fenton makes a great point. Under the new rules that were used to expel George Santos, who got a pardon from President Trump here last week, she should be basically done the same way because he was expelled from the House. So it's time for things to come that go around to come around. And she needs to be expelled from the House of Representatives for her actions. The judge said tonight, you can proceed with that. This is how bad we are getting, folks, in Britain. This guy was arrested. I want you to look at this video. Watch this. You see his shirt right there? It says some people are Zionists. Get over it. The police arrested him. The police arrested him for wearing that shirt, claiming that he was disturbing the peace. He was disturbing the peace. I wonder tonight.
I've reached section 14.
Make way.
And I'll leave it at that. I'm wondering tonight if he was wearing a Free Palestine shirt, or Allah is God, or Ali Akbar, or something like that, that perhaps he would have been arrested. I doubt it very seriously. It's sort of a slow news night, so I'm trying to get a few things here to share with you tonight. This is, let's see here. By the way, this is a great X account, and this is from Vince Langman, who I follow, and he makes a great point here. He said, the man on the left voted 15 times with the Democrats to keep the government closed and destroy President Trump's economy. The man on the right voted 15 times with the Republicans to keep it open. Remind me again who's supposed to be the good guy. That's Rand Paul on the left. That's John Fetterman on the right. That's how messed up the MAGA party is tonight, folks. That's how messed up the MAGA movement is at this moment. And they're trying to destroy us. They're using Israel to do it in many ways. By the way, for all the folks that think Bibi Netanyahu is a leech and trying to drain America of its resources and wants Israel to blackmail and extort America for defense spending and defense money, I want you to listen to this interview he gave just this week and his thoughts about American aid to Israel. I think it's a great interview. Listen to this, about 3-minute clip.
You were a few moments late, clearly running a country, so you're forgiven, but I'm glad you were, because this headline just dropped, and I want to start the interview by asking for your reaction to it. It's on the Axios news site, and it says, Scoop, Israel seeks 20-year military aid deal with US with America First tweaks. Is that correct?
I don't know what they're talking about. My direction is the exact opposite. When I first became prime minister in 1996, I went to the U.S. Congress, and we were receiving financial aid and military aid. And I said, the first thing is, we're going to build a high-tech, free market capitalist economy. We don't need the financial aid. Phase it out. And everybody gasped, how dare he, this young prime minister, eager for a PR title. He's giving up billions of dollars. And I was happy to do it, and I was right to do it. So we got rid of that. Now I want to make our arms industry independent, totally as independent as possible. So my direction is the exact opposite. I don't know who's talking for Israel. I do. So follow what I say, not what is put forward in some leaks that are not true.
So, Prime Minister, you think it's time to cut military aid entirely from the US?
I think it's time to assure that Israel is independent. Understand that our military...
Israel's independent, folks. And, I think it was Laura Loomer last week that made a great point. The best thing for Israel, truly, is to have this happen, and I tell you why. Because then these anti-Semitic voices in America that are screaming, that our only ally in the Middle East is our true enemy. And they hate the Jews. They hate this man with a passion right here. They are so sick. It's like Israel derangement syndrome, IDS. We got TDS in this country. We got IDS. And I would add, I'm going to repeat Carol Smith's comment from Tuesday night. You've got the Islamization of America going on. You've got the communist takeover of America going on. And you've got a spirit of anti-Semitism going on in this country that hates the Jews so much. They hate Israel with a passion. It's demonic. So their big argument by many of them is that Israel is extorting America, that our foreign policy is being directed because of all the money that we give Israel for their defense, and Israel gets us into these wars that, Israel's having to deal with. And let me remind the individuals, and I'm trying so hard not to use the words I want to use tonight. I'm trying to be a good guy here. It's midnight in the East. But I do want to say this, that if you go back in history, if you would just open your history books and read, for those of you that can read, most of the people that say these things are as illiterate as you know what, and probably don't even know where Israel is on a map. But Israel's never started a war. There's not been one war in Israel's history going back to 1948. The Arabs started a war. 1952, the Arabs started the war. War of 1967, Arabs started the war. The Yom Kippur War, 1973. By the way, the Six-Day War is what I'm referring to in 67. The Yom Kippur War, 73. The Arabs started the war. The 1982 Hezbollah War, Lebanon started that war. The Gulf War of 1991, it was Saddam Hussein that launched Scud missiles into Israel during our invasion of Iraq the first time. Israel didn't start that war. The 2006 second Hezbollah War, Israel didn't start that war. Lebanon did. The Intifada of 1987, it was the Arabs that went into Israel and started blowing up suicide restaurants and suicide bombings and did the suicide bombings and did the Palestinian uprising to topple the governments of Israel and topple the people and destroy innocent lives. Israel didn't do that. The second Intifada of 1999 to 2000 to 2001 to 2002, when Yasser Arafat walked away from the peace treaty that Bill Clinton had handed him on a platter, gave him everything he wanted, including half control of Jerusalem. He didn't even want it. He wanted all or nothing. So when he walked away, they declared war on Israel again. Israel didn't start that war. This last war on October the 7th, it wasn't Israel that launched over 12,000 missiles into southern Gaza. No, it was the other way around. Those missiles came from Gaza into southern Israel. The Iran situation that everybody claims Israel is trying to get America to start a war in the Middle East with Iran, it was a one-night bombing that took out a nuclear plant. It wasn't a war. And I've never seen anything like this. There's not been one war that Israel started. But Israel has a right to defend itself just like America does. And any other nation has a right to defend itself when provoked and when attacked. So, I think Laura Loomer's statement was very good. And what it said was basically this. If there's no U.S. money involved, in her defense budget and she becomes independent, then Israel can do what she needs to do to clean the Middle East up and do what she's got to do to take these terrorists and send them back to Terrorland and the great virgin hole in the sky, because that ain't where they're going. But I'm going to tell you this, neighbor. America better walk gingerly about this. And I'm saying this with all due respect. I'm an American. I'm not Israeli, but I'm an American. I love my country. I do. But I love God more. And I know what God's plans are for this nation. And I know the prophetic implications of what's going on. I know the spiritual implications of what's going on. I know the division that's going on right now that's being caused by the devil. Israel is a dividing line. She's always been a dividing line. She's always been sort of the controversy of the nations. She's always been the focal point of the devil's ear and his anger. She's always been sort of like a lightning rod and the thing that divides the goat from the sheep. She's going to be that in the future. I look at this man right here. I respect President Trump beyond words, but I'm going to tell you something. My respect for Bibi Netanyahu is just as huge as it is for President Trump, what he's had to deal with in the years that he's been prime minister of this nation, especially since October the 7th. There is no leader in this world that could have handled the things that he's had to handle in the way he's handled them. Has he made mistakes? Of course he has. Has there been things that's happened in this conflict with Hamas that Israel could have rethought and done maybe better? You know, I'm going to just go out on a limb and tell you, I don't know if they could have done anything any better. When you've got terrorists hiding behind hospitals and terrorists hiding behind schools and terrorists hiding behind children, stealing food from the UN. There's so many videos out there of Palestinians screaming that the UN and the American government brought food over there and all Hamas did was steal it. And then when all Israel got out, when all this peace treaty started here just in the last few weeks, what did the Hamas terrorists start doing? They started shooting Palestinians. They started destroying their own people, and the world just went quiet. Nobody said anything. The only enemy that this woke right anti-Semitic tribe claims we've got is that man right there. And it's not flying with me. And it shouldn't fly with you. Israel has never started a war. She's not gotten America into any war. You know, Israel, it's a miracle of God, folks. And if you don't believe in the God of heaven, look at the nation of Israel. You've got preachers out there. You've got people, so-called theologians. You've got these wannabe Bible theologians, these wannabe Bible people that don't even know where the book of Judges is in their Bible, claim they know everything about the prophetic implications of 1948. They reject that. They throw it off into the pile of dung. You got preachers claiming there's nothing to that Israel's a geopolitical state that was built by the Rothschilds. You got preachers saying this. Let me tell you this, neighbor. Israel was here long before 1948. I respect this man, but he's right. Israel does need to be independent so she can get her job done, because I've got a promise and a prediction. If Israel was free to do what she needed to do without interference, this October 7th situation probably would have been cleared up in 6 months. Let's complete this. Got about a minute. Roll tape.
It is like a fraction, a tiny,
I'll amen myself on that.
Of what the U.S. spent in Afghanistan or spent in the Middle East. It's tiny, but I think that we have a very strong economy. We have a very strong arms industry, and it's true that even though we get what we get, which we appreciate, 80% of that is spent in the United States. So it produces jobs in the United States. But nevertheless, I'd like to see a much more independent Israeli, and even more independent Israeli defense industry. And remember that Israel doesn't ask others to fight for us. Israel is the one America.
That's exactly right. Israel does not go begging other countries to fight for her. Now, I know there are some of those that don't believe that. There are many people that say, oh, no, that's not right. I'll tell you right now, Israel gets America to go fight its battles. Well, show me a battle. You individual morons out there, excuse me, what a second time I've used moron and jerk tonight. That's sort of mild for a McFiles show, but I'll just use those terms. But you intellectual illiterates out there that claim that Israel has gotten America to fight her wars for her, please tell me, what wars are you referring to? If you're out there in that chat room tonight and you're just a raging Jew hater, raging anti-Semite, you tell me what war that America's gotten involved in at the bequest of Israel that you can't name one. Unless you're just lying. And that goes on a lot out there these days. The ignorance of people knows no bounds. My favorite movie, Tombstone, when Doc Holliday talks about his hypocrisy knows no bounds. Well, the ignorance of people know no bounds. My dear friend Eva Babella, I asked her the other night, she's a good friend, and she's going to be on the show again soon. I said, can you believe New York City's got a Muslim mayor? And she said just that. She says, don't underestimate the stupidity of the American voter. And folks, again, I challenge you tonight. Name me one war that Israel asked somebody to go fight for it. No, Israel can handle herself. Because you know what's so crazy about this? This is the mind-blowing thing to me. Israel's blind right now, spiritually. In a spiritual place she does not want to be. She just don't. She don't understand it. The Jewish people, there's many in the Jewish world that don't understand this. There are some Jews that have come to Christ. They recognize the Savior, but they don't, they're part of the church, and they like Paul the Apostle, they plead and they pray and they cry for the salvation of their people. They know where they're at spiritually. But there is a belief in Israel. There's a belief of like any other nation. They have a faith in that they may not understand Christ, but they understand the God of heaven, and they understand their role in His plan for them. They may not understand the whole plan as far as what Christ is going to do and spiritually bring them back to Him, but they trust that God's going to protect them. They trust the fact that God, the God of heaven, is the real God, and their God they recognize as the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Most of them do. Not all, but most do in their government. I tell you what, you look at our nation tonight. Who do we put our trust in? I tell you who we're putting our trust in. We're putting our trust in man. We're putting our trust in money. We're putting our trust in our economy. We're putting our trust in Wall Street. We're putting our trust in institutions here that are ungodly. We're putting our trust in politicians. We're putting our trust in all of these little fringe movements and all these little conservative movements. And we think the conservative movement is going to bring America back from the dead. No, it's not. No, it's not. What's going to bring America back is God Almighty. Well, the Israelis may have their problems, but I will tell you this tonight, folks, they understand that. They understand that. And that's why he can sit there and say what he's just said. Israel don't need the world's help. All those wars I mentioned, Israel was outnumbered in many of them 6-1, and sometimes more. And I'm not talking about a few hundred people. I'm talking about nations, neighbor. She was being attacked by 5 or 6 nations at a time coming against her, and she still is here tonight. The most atheist of atheists should be able to look at that and say there's a God of heaven that evidently must care about this people, which He does. Which He does. All right, 50 seconds.
An ally in the world that says we need boots on the ground. We don't need American servicemen fighting, on the ground for Israel or around Israel. We're fine. We fight our own battles, but in doing so, we also serve important American interests, like preventing countries that chant death to America from having nuclear bombs to throw at America, and so on. So my direction is independence. My direction is not greater dependence. My direction is greater independence, and I'll probably have something to say about that very soon.
What's a realistic timeline for that?
Oh, I think we're already we're already going there. In fact, this afternoon I'm having a very important meeting exactly on this subject.
And we'll see. We'll see how that was. Erin Nolan. She's a podcaster, and it was a good interview. Good interview. Not bad. Okay. Couple of other things, and I will turn it over to you tonight. This is Nick Fuentes and his ignorance, the vile anti-Semite of the Tucker Carlson realm. I'm going to say this to Turning Point USA. I respect Mr. Kirk. I respect Erica Kirk. But I'm going to address the leadership tonight. The more you embrace this anti-Semitic trope and you don't cut ties with these anti-Semitic voices in your group, I don't care who you are. I don't care what you think you're gaining by doing it. You're hurting. You're destroying. You're destroying what Charlie Kirk spent years building up. You're destroying his legacy. You're destroying it. And when you have Tucker Carlson interviewing this guy and basically pushing it, by the way, Tucker's latest thing tonight, he is coming down on Dietrich Bonhoeffer, claiming that Dietrich Bonhoeffer was wrong in trying to kill Hitler. Dietrich Bonhoeffer never tried to kill Hitler, folks. All Bonhoeffer was doing was trying to share information with the Allies. He was a pastor. He stood up to Nazi Germany. He saw the evil in Hitler. We couldn't get the German church to do that. Bonhoeffer was one of the few voices that saw the evil that Hitler was doing. And he's got the famous quote that silence in the face of evil is evil itself. But you got people like Tucker and others that think that's a bad thing. It's a bad thing. Nick Fuentes thinks it's a bad thing. Nick Fuentes says that the only time the Muslims started hating America was after 1948. And then Mr. Douglas Murray, I think this is Murray who says this, gives him a history lesson. Roll tape.
People don't know this, but the Muslim world didn't hate America until after Israel was created.
The Muslim world did not hate America till after Israel was created. By the way, Nick, let me give you a little Bible lesson. My Bible students are in the house tonight. Let me give you a little Bible nugget, Nick. Israel wasn't created in 1948. She wasn't created in 1948. She was reformed. She was miraculously reformed after being scattered for 1,900 years. Because when she was reformed in 1948, the prophetic time clock that started ticking toward the coming of the Lord Jesus began ticking. Not that you would know that, Nick. I pray for your soul, young man. I really do. I pray for Tucker's soul. I pray for other souls. But listen to the response to this, because even the guy's response is not totally true, because he tries to take it back to the time of Andrew Jackson. The Muslim hatred, America was formed in 1776, by the way, but the Muslim hatred for the world didn't even start with Andrew Jackson. Roll the tape.
In 1788,
88,
the United States was barely a country. It was having its sailors taken as slaves by the Barbary states, the states of the Ottoman Empire in North Africa. And its ships stopped, its crews carried off into slavery. We estimate 1.5 million European and American slaves taken between 1750 and 1850. Jefferson and Adams went to their ambassador in London and said, "Why do you do this to us? The United States has never had a quarrel with the Muslim world of any kind. We weren't in the Crusades. We weren't in the war in Spain. Why do you do this to our people and our ships? Why do you plunder and enslave our people?" And the ambassador said very plainly, Mr. Abdul Rahman said, "Because the Quran gives us permission to do so, because you are infidels. And that's our answer." And Jefferson said, "Well, in that case, I will send a navy which will crush your state," which he did. And a good thing, too. Islamic fundamentalism is not created by American democracy. It's a masochistic lie, and it excuses those who are the real criminals.
It excuses those who are the real criminals. Very good stuff. All righty. It is late, and again, this is, I do want to, couple of other quick things that I'll share with you tonight, and then we'll pick this up tomorrow night. By the way, this is the hypocrisy of the Dems. This is Seth Moulton, the loser up in Massachusetts. He's claiming that he's rejecting AIPAC money. He don't want to take money from Israel. But it's being found out tonight that he took Qatari money. He's okay with the Qataris' money, but he don't want Israel's money. Oh, the hypocrisy runs deep. By the way, this is a reminder. The B-Boss family It wasn't just Sharon B. Boss and those two precious kids that Hamas slaughtered on October the 7th. That's their parents right there. Whole generation, 3 generations right there. Think about that. They murdered the parents, murdered the daughter, and murdered the babies. In one swoop, 3 generations of that family was eradicated by the brutality of the Islamic group Hamas. And you can't get around that. Elaine, your question, I'm going to start with the questions. If you got a question or comment, we got about 10 minutes. I'm curious about our poll tonight. I find it hilariously funny. 77 votes. I said, what is the greatest threat to America right now? 53% of you say Islam, 22% say Dems, 23% say corrupt judges, and 1% of you, 1% of you say Trump. Okay, whatever. Any questions tonight? We got about 10 minutes. Sorry for the late hour, but hey, it's better than Fallon. It's better than Kimmel. It's better than the junk on Fox, even at late at night. Come on. Did you get something out of this tonight? Didn't have a lot to say, but you had a few things to say. Good to see everybody in the house tonight. Any questions, any comments? Any questions or comments? You got 10 or 15 minutes. Elaine, I'm going to start with your question. How many billions were given to Ukraine and Iran? Well, we know this much. 15 billion, 150 billion was given to Iran. Probably close to $1 trillion was given to the Ukraine, thanks to Joe Biden. It's an excellent question. And nobody complained about that, did they? Nobody raised a stink about that at all. The Republicans even bowed down and rolled over and played dead when Obama did that. Oh, they got on Fox and screamed and yelled, but they didn't do nothing to stop it. They could have stopped it. They could have stopped Biden from doing the Ukraine thing. Some of the Republicans were out there basically writing checks with Biden. They were saying it was okay. They said it was okay for him to do it, which it wasn't, but that's what they claim. It's a good question because it's amazing that the same voices that were silent about that are screaming about all the tax dollars that we send Israel. I didn't see Marjorie Taylor Greene raising you-know-what about Ukraine. Didn't see Matt Gaetz raising you-know-what about Ukraine. Didn't see them raising a thing. But of course, they wasn't in office when Obama did what he did 10 years ago. It's hard to believe that's been 10 years ago, 2015. Very good question, Elaine. Very good. Roger Hooker says Bibi is playing second fiddle to the hatred of President Trump. Roger, I don't know about that, but it's close. It's probably in a tight race. Elaine says it doesn't make a difference what Israel does. They will still be hated by the world and stupid people in America. Elaine, all of that is right. I would sort of caution about the last statement there. It's not just stupid people in America, Elaine. It's Christians. It's Christians. There is a cancer of anti-Semitism in this nation right now. And the hatred of Israel is biblical. It's prophetic. It's to be expected. You're right. Everything you say in that statement is right. But I think we underestimate that it's not just stupid people that we consider maybe they don't know what they're doing and thinking. That's what scares me. This hatred is coming from intellectuals. I will say this, maybe your comment ultimately may be proven right. There's a verse in Romans, professing themselves to be wise, they became fools. And there's many that are saying they're justifying their hatred of Israel and claiming they're wise and they have a lot of wisdom and all this stuff. They become fools in thinking about it and doing and saying the things they do. So I'll give you that. Joan says slander is a crime and a big sin in God's eyes. It is, Joan. It really is. Jenny Castelnoble's in the house tonight. Jenny, they are pathological liars. They really are. Roger says truth is going to be hard and harder to find in America. It's already hard, Roger. Elaine Willard said, I remember reading articles about Epstein's first arrest, and President Trump helped to get Epstein arrested. It has been many years ago now. Elaine, he did, and also he kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago. When he found out what Epstein was about, he refused to allow Epstein to come down to Mar-a-Lago. All of this, even on the right, and all these people screaming for the release of the Epstein files, they don't care about these victims. They don't care about nothing. All they want is some salacious gossip and salacious slander to go after President Trump with. That's all they're hoping for. And the Democrats went as far tonight, and I think they've stepped in it, because that was just a plain lie, that he had Thanksgiving dinner with Epstein. It's a complete lie. But you see, this is the horror of it. They can go back now and retract that, but the people that first saw that and believed that, when they retract it, they won't see the retraction. All they'll see is they'll go out and start telling people, well, Trump had Thanksgiving dinner with Epstein. I saw it. I read it. And I know that to be true because the Democrat said it, or this website said it, or this X account said it. And see, that's what the Christians do. Christians hear some kind of salacious gossip about somebody, or they hear some kind of slanderous talk about somebody. They'll go out and share it and post public statements about it. And then all of a sudden, some revelation will come down the road that, hey, that's not true. They never go back and retract it. They never go back and say, oops, I'm sorry, we made a mistake. No, they keep digging in. And the world keeps digging in. And the Dems keep digging in. Now, I'm talking from a political standpoint tonight, but we in the morning time, we've been talking about this from a spiritual standpoint. And we in the church are just as guilty of it. But the retraction never gets noticed. That never gets said. Nobody retracts it. And reputations are destroyed by it. Very sad. I'll agree. I'll amen myself. Roger, the vice president said today in an interview that the Democrats and the far left are planning to destroy America, and they cannot regain power. They're going to regain power. But Roger, I'm going to tell you this: the vice president is part of the problem. I respect J.D. Vance, but I'm not too happy with him right now, because he is one of the voices that is basically throwing his lot in with some of these anti-Semitic tropes and not repudiating it. And I'm going to say this to President Trump and J.D., both. They need to come out and make a strong statement where America stands with Israel. And they're not doing it right now. There's a lot of ambiguity. I mean, J.D. as good as got up at Turning Point here a few weeks ago and basically said, we're the one pressuring Israel to do the things she's doing. He as good as said that they forced her arm into this Hamas agreement. And I will tell you all folks tonight, that Hamas agreement, Hamas is not holding their end of the bargain up, but who does America complain about? Who does America call out for that? Who does Americans claim is the enemy in this and the villain? It wasn't Hamas that was forced to apologize for being in Qatar at that hotel having high-level talks. No, Trump made Bibi apologize to Qatar for doing his job as prime minister and bombing the living hell out of that hotel because he was going after people that had killed 1,200 of his people. So it's not just the left I'm worried about, Roger. Not just the left. There's some folks on this right that I'm not too keen about either. America's under siege tonight. America's under siege. I'll amen myself on that. Fetterman is out of the hospital. Yes, Rosemary, he is. He is. Mary Cleveland, good to see you tonight. And you're right, it is illegal for a candidate to take money from foreign countries, and that is a big no-no, and that I think is what is going to be the downfall of Hillary and Bill Clinton with this Clinton Foundation. There's a story circulating tonight that the DOJ is looking into foreign contributions to that organization that was being funneled to Hillary's campaign. Wouldn't that be peachy? In 2016. And this Fang thing with Swalwell still needs to be looked at. What he did with that Chinese spy. I'm not talking about the tawdry sexual stuff. I'm talking about the secrets that was passed of the United States to this woman that was a Chinese operative. She was sleeping with him for one reason, and it wasn't because he was a good-looking dude, but it's because she wanted secrets of the American government, and that needs to be investigated. Nobody's looked at that. They need to. I don't care about the Tawdry stuff. I'm talking about the national security issue. I'll amen myself again. But yes, Mary, it is illegal. You cannot do it. You cannot do it. Harley Guy says it is so easy to ruin a good person's name and reputation today. Harley, it is. Social media has become the platform of hate. It has become the platform of nothing but slander and accusation. And as I said, the slander and the accusation and the lies get out there. Millions will share it out. It starts trickling. One post, 100,000 people will share it. And then if the truth gets told about it, 50 will share the truth, or 30, or 20. And the other 100,000 will still believe the lie. They'll still believe the lie. And the danger of that is the person that the lie is about, their reputation's gone. I mean, there's none of this. And again, that's why laws are on the books for remedies when people do it, because it's illegal. It's illegal. And there's a reason why it's illegal. It was illegal under the law of Moses. We read that this morning. We were talking about that very thing this morning. We're talking about it in our morning Bible studies. But anyway, very well said. Let's see here. What's our poll number at? Still 52, 24, 23. We've had I'm trying to get it up to 100 votes. We've got 84 votes. And what's the greatest threat? Islam is it. Chris Davis, Ron Paul, the turncoat, voted over and over again to keep the government closed. He is part of the problem with this country. Chris, Rand has always been part of the problem with this country. He's always been like that. Thomas Massey is like that. Thomas Massey is questioning tonight whether the FBI is retaliating against J6ers and the whistleblowers. And Dan Bongino went out and spanked him. We may talk about that next week. We got a special show coming tomorrow night. I'll tell you about it in a minute. But we're going to have a change on Friday nights of what we're going to start doing, and I'll explain it in a minute. But when we are on Friday nights. But I will tell you this, Chris, I've lost all respect for him. Really never had much anyway, but he is, it don't surprise me. I'm not happy about it, but it don't surprise me. And I think it's beyond more of he's more than a problem. He's just a rhino, man, whatever you want to call it. All righty. I think the questions are sort of waning, so I'm going to let you go here. It's 12:30 in the East. 52% of you said Islam is the greatest threat to America. Dems, 24. Corrupt judges, 23. And Trump got a vote tonight. He even got 1% of the vote, unless somebody's just being a Trumpinape. I'll end the poll on that. And good to see everybody. I saw some names we hadn't seen in a while. And we hope that you've enjoyed. If you enjoyed the show tonight, put some fire in that house. We've tried to give you little things, some things to think about on a Thursday night and now Friday morning. Anyway, good stuff. Lori says, is there a general figure of money saved during the government shutdown? Lori, that's an excellent question. And you know something? I don't have that answer, but I'm sure there was several hundreds, thousands, maybe even millions saved during that time. But it's also was not good because these air traffic controllers, Lori, was not paid. They were not paid. And we were facing a crisis, a serious. Thanksgiving is a week from today, actually, or 2 weeks from today. Or is it? 2 weeks from today. Today's 13th. Yeah, it's late this month. It's late this year. It's on the 27th. And if these air traffic controllers, if this situation that had gone on, which the Dems was basically digging in, they were going to do it unless they wouldn't have had 8 Democrats come to their senses and 6 in the House vote with the Republicans. I do believe we're going to talk about this filibuster next week. I believe that the Republicans need to nuke it. And somebody I've said this on the show just recently, that all these executive orders that Trump has put forth can be removed and reversed just like this if any damn leader gets back in power. And they will eventually, folks, take power again in this country. They just will. They will take power in this country, sadly, but that's just facts. We've got too fickle of a electorate for them not to. People get tired, and you've got an Islamic siege going on in this nation. You've got a communist socialist siege going on. I would predict, folks, that we may not even have what we call a Democrat Party running in 28. I mean, this could be a whole new monster, whole new socialist party. This could be something that we've never seen. It may come up under a name that we've never seen before. And, I don't know. It is scary, the trend that is going on. And I think the election of Zoman Mandami is a warning signal that this is the direction. I know I saw Fox say it again this morning. They don't think that this will play well in the nation, and I disagree. I think that these people are a threat to our nation. I think they are a threat. It's not just New York that elected socialist leaders. Seattle elected a 21-year-old socialist to run the city of Seattle. Minnesota came within a hairbreadth of that Fatah guy defeating the incumbent. There was a socialist up in New York, in upstate New York, that took over, another 21-year-old communist. You have the lieutenant governor of Virginia now, and a Muslim. For the first time we've ever had a Muslim that high up in office. We had it happen Tuesday night, was a week ago. It's not just New York City that's under siege, neighbor. The whole country's under siege. So when we say the Dems taking power, I don't think it's going to be what we look at as old school Dems. I think there's something new coming. Or going back to your question, I got off topic there. The Thanksgiving holiday was going to be a disaster with people flying home for the holiday had this not happened. And I am grateful. I actually follow the stock market a little bit, and the stock market took a rocking today. I mean, it was down. And I was actually quite shocked because I felt like the government opening would cause the stocks to go back up, and it didn't. It had the opposite effect. So your question, I'm going to look into that. I would say multiple millions of dollars, Lori. It's a good question. It's a good question. They were saved, but the government does have some use anyway. Anyway, good to see you, Lori, by the way. Good to see you. Let's see. We've got a lot of fire in the house over on YouTube. We do have some folks up with us tonight. In fact, we're approaching 200 people. We're approaching more people on a late night show than we do on a regular show. Maybe I need to become a late night comedian and try to take over the airways late at night. I enjoy these little late night chit chats with you. I really do. And I want to say hello to all of our ex-accounters. Xers is what I call them. And we've got about 37 folks over there tonight, and that's good. So that puts us right at 200 live. It's good to see everybody. And, that's a lot. That's a lot for us. 250 live, 300. So we've got just as many tonight as we do on a regular time slot. All you West Coast folks, hope you're going to get some rest now. It's 11:38 in the Central Time Zone, 12:38 in the East. I'm going to bid you adieu now. Now, tomorrow night, as of now, we're going to have a special show. This may change, but we're going to start moving our Friday night shows to call Friday Night Faith Watch. And we're going to look more and more at the assault on faith in this country, the anti-Semitism. We're going to dedicate shows specifically to that. We're looking at doing a show soon, if we don't do it tomorrow night, about the differences between Islam and Christianity and look at the different beliefs and how Islam believes compared to Christians. We're going to still do news shows on Monday night, Tuesday night, and Thursday night. If there is breaking news, we will always have Friday night as an outlier. We can always do that if we feel led to do it, but we're going to start shifting more to faith and dealing with faith issues and so forth. We already give Wednesday night to the Lord. We give one night a week, Wednesday night, Sunday morning, Sunday night's faith. So we're already doing 3, 4, maybe 5 faith shows a week when we do the gospel sing on Saturday. And then we do the news 2 or 3 times a week. We've had emails telling us that people like the news. They don't want us to stop doing the news because they want it from a Christian perspective. They want somebody to tell them the truth about it and give some conservative opinion and godly opinion. And I appreciate the trust that they look to us to do that. And we try our best to give you our thoughts and keep people grounded. These thoughts are ours and these opinions are ours. And you're welcome to have yours. And, we respect yours. You just respect ours too. And we're good. And, as long as you're respectful, we don't have no problem with you disagreeing. But these opinions are ours. And I sure do enjoy being with you every night. We've been doing this for 7 years. Hard to believe. You've been listening to this redneck Southerner for 7 years now. And but this redneck Southerner, I want you to know that he loves you more than you'll ever know. Every single one of you that listen to us, tune in to us, help us financially, support us. And I think we got a great year ahead coming up in 26. I do want to show a picture tonight of me and my lovely. This was us tonight at the event for the Wiregrass Children's Home. And such a good time tonight. We did get one thing there. We bought this in the auction and donated to them. But look at that beautiful cross there. You see that? Isn't that beautiful? And we're going to incorporate that into our Christmas decorations and it'll be our background in the holidays. But it was probably the only thing I saw there that I would want. In the Christmas trees, and all the money that was raised went to the children's home here in Dothan, the Wiregrass, and they do a good work. Again, they help kids that are runaways, abused, abandoned. Any child that comes into that Wiregrass Center needs clothing, food, and they're alcoholic. Their parents may be on drugs or things like that. God help them. I mean, it's sad. This place is a shelter. And they've been in existence a long time. Since me and Kathy were married, she was helping her brother-in-law, Gerald. Vincent's a good man. And we appreciate him tonight. We got to see him and Annette. They set us at their table. And do I have a picture of Gerald's coat? Now, if you don't think that Gerald is a This is my brother-in-law tonight, and he had a coat on that you can't see it in this picture, but that coat, those lights on that jacket are flashing, and the reason I'm laughing there, he looked at me, he said, "You're not running from the law." He said, "I don't take pictures with felons," and I just laughed, and I said, "Gerald, do I look like I run at all?" And then he laughed, and but we had a good laugh tonight. It was good time, and I appreciate him hosting us and his organization, Vincent Plumbing. They do a great work with this children's home, and that's why we were on late tonight. But I want to thank the Lord for us being able there to help them tonight as an extension of the McFiles and our network and you, and we're grateful for all of that tonight. God bless you. God bless your families. God bless this great nation of America. Harley, your question's a little late about trusting the elections. I don't know. We'll see. I think that remains to be seen. Mark Kaysen is in the house. We enjoyed you too, buddy. Good to see you, man. Hope to see you soon. And may the Lord bless you. And Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. Good to see everybody tonight. And I will see you back here tomorrow. We'll do it again. We're going to talk about Islam and Christianity tomorrow night, the differences of the Islamic takeover of America. We're going to deal with this anti-Semitism too, folks. And we'll see. We'll see how it goes. All right. God bless you out there. Get some rest. You folks in the East, it's past midnight. As I tell my kids, bedtime. Past your bedtime. So we'll see you back here tomorrow. In the morning, see you on the Bible study. Have a good night, everybody. Be blessed out there. We love you all. Have a good night now.